Hi, how are you today? Quick question for you. How does perfectionism show up in your life? And I mean that with all sincerity. How does it show up in your life? For me, it was, my name's Tammy, by the way. For me, it was micromanaging. One of the ways was micromanaging my kids, because I was so afraid of how the world would react to them. Well, that's not really true. I mean, it is, but it's not the 100% honest to God truth. In all honesty, I was more concerned about what the world would think of me, how their behaviors would be a reflection of what I was doing wrong. I know that sounds terrible, but it's just, it was so. Other ways that it showed up for me is I was the 11th hour kid, procrastinating because I was always afraid if I couldn't get it done right, why get it done at all? It's caused me indecision, it led me down a path of indecision. I struggled with eating disorders as a result of it. It's all about control. And then the biggest one that really impacted my life was the way I isolated, meaning I just didn't do anything socially. I mean, we might call it social anxiety. I wasn't really socially anxious. It was just that I was socially anxious in the way that, again, what are people going to think of me? But although, and when I say I isolated, I'm talking years. Worked out of my house, didn't do anything socially. I restricted my world so much. I mean, it just was a breakdown upon breakdown upon breakdown. And then it got to the point, where it was too painful to remain closed. Like in Nin, that poem? I'll put it in the description box. But it was far too painful to remain closed. And so I opened up and started showing up, talking with people around the world. I mean, the pandemic was actually really great for that, because at that point we all have to shelter in place, and I found myself connected to people and showing up. And that's where I realized that isolating had little to do with what people were going to think of me. Being around other people brought me face to face with myself. Now, first of all, perfectionism wouldn't have allowed me to come on here with my hair looking like it does, with my sunglasses, walking in the rain. I'd be sitting up somewhere, all nice and fancy, but I'm not going to do it. I mean, you haven't really seen me do that, but that's the beauty of not feeling perfectionism run my life. But like I said, I realized that my isolation was more about, because once I started showing up, when I say I met with myself. I was faced with myself. Give you a good example. I had somebody tell me not too long ago from the UK that they just adored me. I was such a fluid, go with the flow kind of person, easygoing. I mean, these are all the words that I was given, right? The descriptions. And on the inside, I'm like, boy, if she only knew. But see, that's my perception of me. The way we show up and the way people reflect back to us how they see us in a positive light, that's the stuff that we want to embrace. But again, it brought me face to face with that dialogue, that narrative in my head that's just made up. It's made up based on my interpretations, misinterpretations of life. If any of this sounds like you are invited to have a breakthrough coaching session with me. It's no cost. And because I'm invested in you breaking free from that, because my guess is you've got something really big to bring into this world, and you're resisting that because it's not time. You don't know how to do it right. You're not the right person. Does any of this sound familiar? Or. So, come on. Breakthrough sessions on me, baby. See you soon.